the least racist person you have ever interviewed. That I can tell you.
All right, the president has consistently and nonstop of late started defending himself against charges now on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day that he's a racist. Now Democratic congressmen are skipping his State of the Union. At least 4 of them plan to do that. To radio show host Kevin Jackson, Stacy, Washington, on this narrative. You know what is amazing to me, Stacy, is you have to address a negative. Like, how long have you been beating your wife? Or when did you stop beating your wife? So it comes out the gate with that comment, like, are you a racist? What's a guy to do?
You know, where were these people, Neil, when it was President Obama and he described Libya as an S show? Where were they then? Where was the outrage when President Obama said all of those things in private about Bibi Netanyahu? Look, I'm all for clean language. I wouldn't use that term to describe countries of any kind. But the truth hurts, doesn't it? These countries are indeed plagued by troubled governments. They don't have good services, and they're not clean countries in that they're not free of corruption. That's why their citizens want to come to the United States. So I love your analogy, when did you last beat your wife? You can't prove or disprove the negative. So what is President Trump to do? He, as a private citizen, he funded all of these trips by doctors to Haiti to fix cataracts and give people sight. He's donated. He's done everything he can do besides marry someone of another color to prove that he is not a racist. What else can he do?
Well, Kevin, I'm wondering what the fallout will be, especially now when it accelerates to the point a number of prominent Democratic congressmen, much as they did last year at his inauguration, skip, in this case, his State of the Union address. What do you think of that?
Who cares? Those, I call them the congressional black circus clowns, Neil. Nobody cares if Maxine Waters isn't going to show up to that event. In fact, I think most Americans are happy that she doesn't show up. It'll clean up the joint, as we would probably say in the vernacular. Look, Donald Trump doesn't have to defend that he's not a racist. I personally wish he would become more Donald Trump and sort of take the stance that he took with the NFL players and just say, grow up. You know, he doesn't have to go out and convince people in America that he's not racist. I say to most black people, look at your housing values. Look at your portfolios. Look at the job opportunities that you currently now have because of this administration. You know, America's tired of people trying to take blacks out as a subculture and say that Donald Trump's being somehow divisive or racist, and as Stacy alluded to with this nonsense about, you know, the crap hole countries. Most Americans feel identically the same as Donald Trump. I've traveled to many countries in Africa, not as much through Central America, but I can tell you I'm not surprised at what I've seen. I had an office in Mexico City. Let me tell you, these places are dumps. They're third world armpits, and most Americans feel this way. So for us to try to, you know, soft shoe this whole issue and let the Democrats have a narrative that Donald Trump is in some way racist. Look, he's done more for the historically black colleges and universities than President Obama did. He's done more for black business, and I could go on. But again, it is not his role to say, I'm going to single out blacks and do something specifically for you. He's doing it in the economy.
Well, it just feeds a narrative that gets us way off course here. And I'm reminded about Democratic Congresswoman Maxine Waters, Stacy, who said, I quote here on an appearance on MSNBC, "Why would I take my time to go and sit and listen to a liar? Someone who lies in the face of facts, someone who could change their tune day in and day out. What does he have to say that I would be interested in?" So by definition, Republicans who might feel the same way about a Democratic president and opt not to attend an event, which hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened because they would have been called racist.
Well, right,
you know,
my point is that
vilified
where
them.
do you go with this?
Well, I can tell you where I went with it. So I had to stop for a second and think, why now? Why is Dick Durbin saying that the president said this now? Because the Democrats brought in a deal to the president, quote fingers included, Neil, where they actually said to him, we'll give you 1.6 on the wall. He needs 18.6 billion. We won't give you anything on chain migration. And oh, by the way, we're not going to do anything about your other requests. And also, we want to reinstate special status for all of these other people from these countries. And the president said, get out. So what do? How do you roll that narrative into something where you're winning as a Democrat? You turn to racism. This is their bully pulpit. This is their card. They think blacks are inferior. They only want to use us for votes. Yeah, and it's not working anymore, as Kevin just said. All over the country, people are looking at their paychecks, expecting them to swell up next month due to the tax cut. Record low unemployment for blacks. We're talking about winning. I'm not tired yet. I can't wait for more. Happy MLK Day. I love to see people in my community, Americans, working. And the rest of this stuff is just them throwing more temper tantrums. You know what I haven't heard, Neil? Russia.
Neil, don't forget, Tracy just mentioned chain migration. You know, Dick Durbin said that should be offensive to us. We should be afraid of that. It's just more of the nonsensical things that leftists say, because they want to charge us up. What the left do is they use black people to become their whipping boys. We're the ones that are supposed to be all, oh, no, white people, you just didn't. No, you didn't just say that. And they get us into a frenzy over nothing.
And the fact of the matter is, exact language, the same term, to refer to connections and family extensions here in this country just a few years ago. All right. Guys, thank you both. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. I think you just said thank you.
I did. I wish we had more time. Guys, even speechless, I can be clueless. All right, so thank you, guys.